Hi, small group leaders. You are my heroes. Way to go. Living room by living room, dorm by dorm, apartment by apartment. You're the ones doing the real ministry here at Bayside. And I just want to let you know, every single week, you're a VIP. Very important pastor. We are studying in Revelations 2:18, which is kind of a challenging passage. It's going to be a great small group for you, though. You get to talk about sex. It's awesome. But talking about it, you need to do it in a careful way. I'm just going to give you 3 or 4 questions I want you to ask in your small group that are directly tied to our passage from this weekend. Now, here's the big first point we made this weekend, and that is, it was this church in Thyatira. They had heartfelt service, but they were still deceived. They had heartfelt service. In other words, they believed deeply and with a lot of emotion, but were still in error. Here's the question you should consider asking in your small group. Where are your feelings at odds with your faith? You know, sometimes we'll just love something, and I'll give you an example of my life. I had a discipleship guy in my life, Ron Urkus. He sat me down one day and said, Curt, you're very good at making sarcastic jokes. Is that God's will? And even though it felt so good to me and it was a part of my shtick and my identity, I had to admit, according to the Bible, it was something I needed to stop doing. Where is your feelings at odds with your faith? These guys had great feelings for each other, and there was some good in that. But it was at odds with what they were deciding in terms of their doctrine. Great discussion question. Where do I want to do something in my emotions, but in my head I know it's not right? Here's the second question. How vulnerable are you? They get to this place where they're accepting scheming leaders and supplemental truth, and it really gets into some deep things in their life. They talk about what are their idols. They talk about what are the sexual sin in their life. Now, I'm not saying confess a bunch of sexual sin to each other in the small group, but this might be a great week to separate between guys and gals if you're a co-ed group and really talk honestly. It also is a great question just to ask, couple by couple, individual by individual, single person by single person. Is there anyone in your life that knows everything about your life? You don't have to confess everything to your small group, but someone ought to know. And by the way, if you're married, and a lot of you aren't, if you're married, it can't just be your spouse, because let's all face it, talking to your spouse is kind of a different gig. It's important, do it, be vulnerable with them. But guys, you need someone that'll look right at you and call you an idiot and just smack you on the side of the face and go, stop believing that, stop doing that. And gals, you need someone that will not just hear your confession, but have the courage to tell you this is what you need to do about it. If you're doing that with someone else, man, you're going to be successful at following Christ. So, first question, how are your feelings at odds with your faith? Second question, how vulnerable are we being, especially about any sexual sin in our life or any idols in our life? And then, here's my last question. What in your faith, you know it's right, you know it's good, you know it's from God, but it's hard to hold on to? This church, there was a few of them that said, man, we're not compromising. We're not adding anything to Jesus. We're going to stand up. But it's clear from the passage, it was difficult. Sometimes God asks us to hold on to a marriage, a business decision, a teenager, just how we respond to a co-worker or how we deal with a girlfriend that we know God wants us to break up with. And we know it's right, but it's hard to hold on to that decision. What one area of your life you're saying, I need some prayer and help holding on for Christ? Tell your small group that, and then actually pray for each other. You will be surprised about how much strength happens when you confess this is difficult and actually get some prayer. I know you know that already, so go to it. You're great. Way to go. Thank you for your service.